And you are looking live at Sold Out Giants Stadium, where today the 16-0 New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. Why are Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all? Anybody going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Or anybody spends any time at all watching the replay of this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys. You guys are the absolute best. You guys absolutely rock. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, as I always try to shoot my mouth off for at least that long. I think last night I went almost like about 50 minutes long. And anybody got anything to put, say, just throw in the chat box. Usually I check on the chat box like every 5-10 minutes or so or whatever. So anybody got anything to put in the chat box, just please feel free, fire away. I always try to respond to everything that goes in the chat box, all right? So before I get started, anybody who wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. It would help me so much. There's a top link in the description box. It takes you to like my membership offer page, I guess it is. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third one is called the Gridiron. All 3 would help me out immensely, help my channel out, help support the channel. I got there's a loyalty badges in there. There's emojis. I got 4 emojis. I got a 5th one, which will be coming out eventually. I had the loyalty badges and emojis made up on Fiverr. So they're pretty cool looking. Right. I mean, you can the emojis, you can use them in the chat box, I guess, or when you comment on something. And the loyalty badges, they're different helmets of the Giants, right? As they go back. The older your helmet is for the Giants means the longer you've been a supporter of my channel. So it's really pretty cool. So as I said, anybody at all wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. And then also, right, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please click on that the subscribe button below and hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put a video out or whatever, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge. Okay? And then finally, also in the description box below, there's a couple of links. One of them is there's the Facebook. There's like 3 links in the for my Facebook. The first one, okay, is it's the group. Okay, it's the Facebook group. Oddly enough, it's called the Gridiron, right? It's got over 1,800 members in there. All right, so please click on that, become a member. It's free of charge, right? And I just got done 1, 2, 3, 4. I just got done uploading like 4 different videos in there. I put 1, 2, I put like 3 or 4 things also during the day. So every day there's at least 5 to 10 different things going in there every day. And the great thing about the group as well, okay, is that with the other 1,800 members, is that you get some the members, they're posting stuff as well too. So I mean, there's every day in the group, there's at least 5 to 10 different new things going in there every day. Then it brings me up to the other point is that there's another link below the group link. It's to a page. Actually, I got 2 pages, all right? But one of them, it's called This Day in Giants History. I'm not as active on that because right now the group that I got, the Facebook group that I got, and this other page that I got, Facebook page, plus the YouTube channel I got going on right now, is taking up quite a few hours every day of my time. So the This Day in Giants History, that page, I'm not as active on that, but I will be picking up on that one eventually. So that's why I made that one, and I do intend on getting that one going. But there's another one. The page is called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. And as of right now, I got 294 likes. 759 people are following it. Every day, I tell you what, I'm getting like 10 to 20 new people following it. I think Saturday, I was up around 600 followers. So, I mean, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, like the past 5 days, I've gone up probably about 150 followers. So this one is really going on, really taking off really, really well. It's the same thing here. I mean, I'm putting in like at least 5 to 10 new things every day. Now, in the page, I'm the only one that's allowed to post anything. Okay. But, as I said, I try to make sure that every day is at least 5 or 10. I see what did I do? 1, 2, 3. I just put three new things up in the past half an hour here. And then earlier this morning, what did I do? I put on 1 video, 2, 3, 4. I put up like 4 things this morning. So between this morning and this afternoon, there's like 7 different things going up here. Now, what I do is I don't commingle, anything I put on the page, I don't put in the group. Anything I put in the group, I don't put on the page. For the most part, every now and then it might be something that's same. Okay, if it's something really, really important or whatever. But for the most part, whatever I put in the group does not go on the page. So please feel free. Click on that link, okay? Once again, it's free of charge. Like the group, like the page, follow the page, and become a member of the group. It's all free of charge, and it's nothing but, every day between the 2 of them, there's probably at least 15 new items, videos, and posts and all that I'm putting out there. So please feel free and fire away. All right. Okay. So with all of that being said, now what we got there's the injury update. Now, as I said, this is the one thing, because I just totally despise, totally. I'm going to say it one more time for the hearing impaired out there. Okay. I absolutely, totally despise the Eagles. Okay. Some people, the Cowboys are second. Okay. But the Eagles are number 1 because I'm in South Jersey here. I'm about 25 minutes from Philadelphia. I respect the heck out of the Eagles, right? But I just totally despise. I will not watch them win a football game. Absolutely. My life depended upon it. I will not watch the Eagles win. Not happening. I moved here from Long Island, 1977. And so I've been here since 77. So I've been here for 45 years. And in South Jersey, we're most, 80%, 75, 80% of the people are Eagle fans, and they're very obnoxious. And, I can't stand them. Right. So, as I said, I've said this multiple times, I said the Eagles have a fantastic football team without question. I tell you, you look at, I'm going to go over this in a little bit. All right. But they're pushing their chips in the middle of the table. Okay. Because once they get to sign Jalen Hurts, and he's going to want about $50 million or so, they're going to start losing some guys. And also, as I said, they're pushing their chips in the middle because their salary cap that they got next year, okay, they have about $5.8 million in salary cap space, okay? They don't even have enough money next year to sign their draft class. And the thing is with Jalen Hurts, okay, we're going to go over this in a little bit. But I'm saying, but with Jalen Hurts, he's really doing very, very well. But he's a second-round pick. They don't have him for 5 years. This is his 3rd year. Okay. So, next year is his 4th, and then they have to re-sign him. Okay. So there's no 5th-year option or like that. All right. So once they start signing Jalen Hurts, okay, and he wants about $50 million, right? Somewhere around there. You can wave bye-bye to even more of the guys. Okay. But they said, I'm going to go over this in a little bit, but the Eagles are pushing their chips in the middle of the table. Okay. And not only got all the chips in it because they're getting all these guys in and stuff like that, and and nobody, for the most part, is hurt on their team. Absolutely nobody at all. All the other teams, things are just lining up really well for the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl. We're lining up really, really well. It's lining up well between the Cowboys and the Eagles, right? Because their biggest, the Giants could, we played the Cowboys tough both times, right? Injuries, right? There's like really nobody out there who can really, the biggest threat was the 49ers. And it's still maybe all threat. Maybe Jimmy G might be back, maybe by the playoffs, maybe. I'll have to say. But, the 49ers have the best defense in the football, okay? But, of course, the Eagles, and the Cowboys lucked out because now the 49ers have lost, their second starting quarterback, right? Everything's just lining up just perfectly. The Eagles, nobody's injured at all. The Cowboys, very minimal injuries, right? And everybody else around is just, either stinks or they're just getting injured. Like Buffalo, they lost Von Miller for the season, their best edge rusher, right, on defense. Things are just lining up really perfectly for the Eagles and the Cowboys just to go to the Super Bowl, right? So I said, the Eagles have a very good team, but I said they have nobody. I think they get Dallas Goedert, okay. He's a decent tight end, but this is the Eagles injury report right here, which came out Wednesday. Guys who did not participate: Sean Bradley, a linebacker, who did not participate because of a hamstring, and they have two guys who were limited participation: Quez Watkins with the shoulder, wide receiver. He got dinged up in their game against the Titans, and they took him off the field and brought him into the locker room. And I guess I don't think he ever came back because he got a shoulder. So I think got Kazir White, they're another linebacker. He's got an ankle. They got three guys. One that did not participate and two were limited. Okay. Meanwhile, the Giants, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Giants got 11 guys. And then, of course, it's not to count, also, obviously Xavier McKinney, right, who's got pins in his hand. They're not going to club him because he's got pins in his hand. Once the pins come out, possibly might think about clubbing him, but who knows? But Joshua Zudo, all right, we got, what do we got? We got 3 offensive linemen who did not participate. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Eagles have like the best offensive, pretty much damn close to the best offensive line in football. Everybody's just hunky-dory. Nobody even sneezes on that team. Nobody even blows their nose. Absolutely nothing. Those 5 run onto the field at the beginning of the game. After the end of the game, those 5 offensive linemen run off the end of the game. Everybody's just high-fiving, doing the mockery, and everybody's just healthy as can possibly be. Meanwhile, every week the Giants keep losing guys left and right. So the Giants who did not participate: Joshua Zudo, he's got a problem with his neck. Glowinski, they rested him. Okay, they rested a few guys. Adoree Jackson with his knee does not look like he will be back. Okay, this week, kind of hoping, right? Because the Giants lose this week. Obviously it's not the end of the world. The bigger game would be beating the Commanders, right? That would be a bigger game. If we can get Adoree Jackson back, that would be freaking huge. If we get Adoree Jackson back and Xavier McKinney back against the Commanders, that would be huge. Okay. So Adoree Jackson, his knee, Dexter Lawrence, they just rested him, right? Because give that freaking guy off as much time as he wants or as he needs, whatever. Shane Lemieux with his toe. This toe is costing him the whole season. No preseason, no regular season, absolutely freaking nothing. He was in there for one game, and the toe. Absolutely freaking amazing. Was it last year? Partially tore his patella tendon, right? That cost him the whole year. Nope. No preseason. Played 19 snaps the first week against the Broncos. Missed the whole rest of the season. So partially torn patella tendon last year, or toe this year. Don't count on that guy being around much longer with the Giants. He's played maybe 40 snaps, 50, 60 snaps, maybe in 2 years, 60 snaps. Julian Love, they rested him because he was on the field for like 85 freaking snaps against the Commanders. Rest that freaking guy. And re-sign the freaking guy too. Re-sign him. Holy cow, can't let him go. My goodness. But he was playing football, the defense. He was on special teams. And Leonard Williams with his neck. Now, the thing with him, I'm going to go over this tomorrow, talking about maybe like what the Giants might expect maybe when the Giants are on defense, okay? But, we need Leonard Williams in there, especially to stop the Eagles' running game. The Eagles have a very good running game. It's a good running game. They have, as I said, it has to do because they have one of the best offensive lines in football. And, and also Jalen Hurts, right? And so it's not like they have a spectacular, unbelievable running game. I mean, the quarterback helps out a lot too, all right? But I mean, our linebackers are not, they're not Dick Butkuses, shall we say. We're having a hard time, stopping the run. And, we need Leonard Williams in there. So let's hope, really hope. I mean, if he can't go this week, okay. But, I mean, we can really use him against the Commanders. Now, as I said, he came out of the game last week. I believe it was the third quarter and never went back in. And you've seen him while he was laying down. They were working on his neck and everything. So let's hope. Let's hope he gets better. For full participation with Kenny Golladay, apparently got over his illness. Okay. Limited in participation was Darnay Holmes with his shoulder, Richie James with his knee, Nick McLeod with his hamstring, and Henry Mondeau with his knee. All right. So we got, you got, Xavier McKinney is out. Adoree Jackson, he did not participate. He probably is not going to be playing Sunday. Julian Love with the rest, but Darnay Holmes, with his shoulder, and Nick McLeod with the hamstring. I mean, so we got a boatload of guys on the offensive line banged up and the secondary banged, just tell you what, it is not, it's tough. It's tough, especially when you're going up a very, very good team. Okay. As I said, like with the Eagles. Okay. And, and you're banged up and they're not. Yeah. Very, very difficult. Okay. So the Giants here. What to expect now? Yeah. I got this little article here from Giants.com. Tough matchup for DJ and the offense. Daniel Jones is coming off one of the most efficient outings of the season against the Commanders. He completed 80.7% of his passes. One of them was, one of those incompletions was a spike. It was only incompletion in the first half was a spike to stop the clock, kick the field goal. Graham Gano at the end of the first half to tie the game at 13. Other than that, he didn't throw an incomplete pass the whole first half. We're going to need that big time against the Eagles. Let's see. And it's 200 yards and a touchdown and a passer rating of 104.3. It was his second game this season, finishing with a completion percentage over 80. Week 1 versus the Titans, he had a completion percentage over 80 as well. His fifth with a rating of over 100 and his third consecutive game with at least 200 yards passing. Jones is averaging 256 yards passing per game over the last 3 weeks with a touchdown pass in each outing. And he still only has 4 interceptions on the year. Okay. He had 1 in the first week against the Titans. So you figure what was 12 games, the last 11 games, he has 3 interceptions. And I guess 2 of them were 2 against the Lions. And then one of them was when David Sills slipped the last game, offensive play of the game against the Cowboys when we were home. That's when Sterling Shepard just ran out 10 yards and boom. Right. After the whole season, got injured. The whole season. That's when David Sills slipped. Daniel Jones, I guess, with time and pass or whatever. Daniel Jones threw the ball with David Sills. Should have been if he didn't slip. Okay. But Jones is also enjoying the most productive season of his career as a runner. Going up against Washington's strong run defense, a fourth-year quarterback carried the ball a career high 12 times and gained 71 yards, 5.9 yard average. With 5 games remaining, Jones has already set career high marks in rushing attempts at 91, yards 522, yards per game 43.5, and touchdowns with 4. After facing a tough matchup last week, Jones and the offense will go up against an even more difficult challenge this week in the Eagles. Coming in Week 14, Philadelphia's defense ranks 7th in points and 2nd in yards allowed. Yes, but there's the theory of relativity. Things are relative, okay? They're not giving up a lot of yards. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong there. Okay? But their offense is good, okay? So when their offense is on the field, running the ball, completing passes, and scoring points and this, that, and the other thing, their defense is on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid. Well, if the defense is on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid because they have a good offense, how many yards is the defense giving up? None. How many points is the defense giving up? Unless there's a pick 6 or something like that, but they're not giving up nothing. right? Why? Because they're on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid because their offense is good and they're on the field. Okay. But they have the top passing defense in the NFL, surrendering just 178.5 yards per game. That's because they got Slay and Bradbury. But as I said, they got all the chips in the middle of the table this year. Okay. Bradbury won't be there next year. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Slay. Wow. His cap hit is $26 million next year. They let him go. It's a dead cap hit of 21. So, I mean, Slay's going to make $26 million. I mean, they can certainly, next year, Lane Johnson, their right tackle, is going to make 24. So between Slay and Johnson, they're making $50 million next year between the two of them. I mean, they could let Lane Johnson go and save $24 million. So they got a bunch of, they have some decisions to make. They have some dead cap money and all this stuff and everything, right? They're lucky. A.J. Brown's only counting toward $8 million toward the cap next year, right? So they're doing some creative, stuff with the salary cap money. Okay. The Eagles' defense has only allowed one opposing team to throw for over 185 yards over the past 7 games. And it was Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love combined for 236 yards, while no team has thrown for more than 239 yards against them. Last week's win over the Tennessee Titans was the first game this season in which the defense did not force a turnover. They have a lot of turnovers. They have a lot of sacks. I'm sorry. They have a lot of sacks, and they get a lot of turnovers, okay? So that the Giants cannot shoot themselves in the foot, all right? Philadelphia's talent all across the defense starting up front. They have 5 players with 5 or more sacks. Hassan Reddick has 9 sacks. Hargrave has 8. Josh Sweet has 6.5. Brandon Graham has 5.5, and Fletcher Cox has 5. Fletcher Cox has 5. Those 5 has also combined for 7 forced fumbles in the secondary. Gardner Johnson leads the team with 6 interceptions. Okay. But he's on the injured reserve. Okay. However, cornerbacks Darius Slayton and James Bradbury have 3 interceptions apiece to go with 24 combined pass breakups. Okay. So, I mean, you have 2 pretty much number 1 cornerbacks out there. Okay. Both those guys, Bradbury and Slay, are really good corners. Oh, absolutely. They can play zone. They can play man. They're very experienced. Absolutely. I think they read routes very well. They're 2 hard guys outside to throw the ball against. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, that without question. Okay. They have 2 top-notch cornerbacks, and which, obviously makes it, tough to pass the ball. The Eagles, let's see here. Yards per play in the NFL, they're number 1. Their defense is only given a 4.7 yards per play. They're number 1. The Cowboys are number 2. And the Jets and the Broncos and the 49ers, they all have 4.8. But the Eagles, 4.7 yards per play. Okay? Are number 1. So they don't give up a lot of yards. Turnovers, they forced 22. Is that number 1? Let me see. Yep, they're number 1. The Cowboys got 21 as well. The Seahawks have 21, but Eagles, 22 turnovers. Okay, so they're getting, almost like 2 a game. Okay, they got 7 fumble recoveries, and they have, I believe it's 15 interceptions. I think they said. Okay, yards. Let's see here, yards. They're number 1. They've only given up 2,142 yards passing. Now, once again, same thing here. Cowboys, number 2, 2,158 yards. Okay, so we have the top 2 basically defenses almost like, as far as passing while in the league. Then you also have, they have 15 interceptions. They're number 1, 15 interceptions. And what makes that impressive, okay, is that they have a very good offense. So I was saying the offense is on the field a lot, marching up and down the field, scoring all kinds of points, and the defense is not on the field that much, and they're still getting turnovers and interceptions, and they're only giving up 4.7 yards a play. Okay, Where we at here? Wait, let's see. It's down here. Where we got? Let's see, sacks. They're number 2. The Cowboys are number 1, 48 sacks. The Eagles are number 2, 42 sacks. Okay, so let's see, pressure percentage here. The Giants are up there, 24.8. So Giants get a lot of, right? A lot of the Eagles, get pressure 24% of the time. Let's see here. Where we have missed tackles. Where the hell are the Eagles at? Missed tackles. Missed tackles. They're in a little boat there. All right. But I mean, the Eagles, very, very good. Okay. Against the pass. Very, very good. Okay. Now, if anything, okay, where are we at? Where are the Eagles at? Okay. Maybe a little possibly kind of maybe their Achilles heel could possibly be their run defense. Okay. They are 4.6. They're tied for like 9th worst overall. They give up 4.6 yards per carry. The Giants are horrible. Giants are 5.1. Giants need to get, between Tay Crowder, Calitro, Jalen Smith, right? I mean, they got Micah McFadden. That the Giants have like probably the worst collective inside linebacker group in the league, period. The Giants have to, do something, but maybe in the draft, right? Pick somebody up. We're going to need a wide receiver. I don't know what, where we'll address the offensive line again. Maybe if we can, maybe later on. But I mean, the first or second round, we need like a good linebacker. Good linebacker, right? And we need a good wide receiver, right? So those would be the top areas I would go for, okay? But I mean, I was saying that, the Eagles, right? Let's see here. Defense, where is he? They don't give up. Let's see, where are the Eagles? Eagles, okay, they've given up 10 rushing touchdowns, but I said, 4.6 yards per carry. And they've given up, they're middle of the pack, 1,415 yards. Okay, should have 7. They're right in the middle of the pack as far as yards given up on defense, running the rush defense. However, some of it is also, okay, some of the games, like they're blowing teams out, like they beat the Vikings, I think, by 385 points. They've killed the Titans and all of this stuff. So a lot of times when you're beating other teams, they beat the Commanders 24-8. So when you're beating other teams, okay, I know they were up on the Lions a lot in the first game of the season. The Lions came back and only lost by 3 points to the Eagles. But, when you're up a lot, the other team is down. Okay, we're down by 35 points to the Eagles. Let's establish the run. No, you're just going to throw the ball. So there's a lot of times the Eagles are up, and they're up by a lot. The other team's not going to run the ball because they need a lot of points. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why the Eagles have only given up like 17th wise as far as the amount of rushing yards. Okay. But I said that they got, I mean, they're kind of like pushing a lot of the chips in the middle of the table here, okay? Because they got Ndamukong Suh, as a backup, okay? They got Linval Joseph. I mean, how old is he? My goodness. Is this going to pop up? Okay. He's 34. He's 34. He just turned 34 years old, okay? 6'4", but 6'4", 328 pounds, okay? Same thing with him. Sue and him just consume bodies. Okay, that way they consume blockers and all, right? And that way they make the guys behind them, right? They come in and they make the tackle. But I mean, and they got Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweet, Kazir White, Edwards, but Reddick, right? They got Bradbury and Slay. I mean, they got their basic defense is very, very good. And as I said, when Jordan Davis, right? I believe he's injured. I believe. I thought he was, but I could be wrong there. But I mean, Jordan Davis is like their first round draft pick, right? See their first round draft pick? He's only 22 years old. Yeah, pick 13. Yeah, from Georgia. Oh, he's active. Okay. All right. Okay. This is active. All right. I thought he was injured at one point, but he was picked 13 in the draft from Georgia. 6'6", huge guy. All right. He's a body consumer. Okay. Same thing there. I mean, he's not much as far as rushing the passer, but he's very good against the run, stuffing up the middle. But I mean, you got Jordan Davis as a backup. You got Ndamukong Suh as a backup. You got Linval Joseph as a backup. I mean, Jesus God. I mean, you got Darius Slayton on one side. He's a good cornerback. Then, of course, they got Bradbury because, we were in cap hell. We couldn't afford to keep him. I mean, if Bradbury, if we had Bradbury and Adoree Jackson, we would, I certainly wouldn't say we'd be 9-2 or nothing. You know what I mean? But, that would certainly help a lot. Okay. But we got Zion Gilbert out there instead of James Bradbury. Why? Because we're in cap hell. Okay. We had to let Bradbury go, and we had to wind up keeping, Kenny Golladay. Should have been the other way around. Wish we could have let Kenny Golladay go, and we could have kept Bradbury. That would have been huge, because we're not getting any production from either one. We're not getting production from Golladay, and we're not getting production, obviously, from Bradbury. I wish we could have kept Bradbury and got rid of Golladay. But is what it is. What I'm saying is, it's just they're just stacked. I mean, the whole defense is just stacked. A very, very good defense, without question. And as I said, there's like almost nobody injured. Everybody, what I mean? Nobody even has a cold on that team. Now, I mean, what to expect? Oh my goodness. I mean, it's, well, we can't give up turnovers. I mean, we can't give the Eagles, can't give them points, right? I mean, I don't know what's going on with Saquon. I'm not sure if he's, tiring out or exactly what the heck it is, but we need something from him. We can use a couple big long plays from him. He's had some big plays against them in the past. Daniel Jones has had some good runs against them in the past too. Okay. Look for a lot of motion, right? To try to decipher what the heck the Eagles are doing. Okay. But I mean, it's like we don't really have much of anybody out there to scare you. So, I mean, they could play man to man, they could play zone, right? As I said, look for a lot of, short passes, which is kind of what we're, used to. Because I don't know if, they're going to think that Daniel Jones can stand in the pocket that long without getting sacked, right? That's one of the biggest problems. That's one of the reasons why we're not throwing the ball down deep, because maybe they're not trusting the offensive line to be able to throw the ball down deep, far, that far, So I look for a lot of short passes. Thankfully, we got Bellinger back. He's going to help. Hodgins has been looking good, but just look a lot of short passes. If the ball comes to you, you hear that, Darius Slayton, you got to catch it, right? There ain't no excuses. Get the ball into Saquon's hands, try to get him out in space, whatever they can do. I mean, also try to get Daniel Jones, right? Involved a little bit in the running game too. But as I said, we can't have turnovers, right? I'm sure he's probably going to get sacked a few times, but he's got to hold on to the ball, and everything is so, so important. I mean, when it's 3rd and 2 or 3, I mean, and if you're running the ball, you gotta get that freaking 2 yard or two. You gotta, I mean, everything. Oh, there's shit. Oh, there's Ronnie. Hey, we have to play clean. Yeah. Oh yeah, you ain't kidding. Oh yeah. I mean, we can't give the Eagles nothing. Can't give them nothing. Nope. No mistakes. I mean, we can't, none of that Feliciano, right? Taunting penalty took us out of field goal range. When we're in field goal range, we got to at least get a field goal. Or if we get in the red zone, we really could get a touchdown out of it. I mean, everything, I mean, this has got to be a really, really well played game. I mean, so the penalties, no turnovers. I mean, it's going to be tough. Really, really going to be tough. I mean, hopefully, I said we get Leo Lyon, but hopefully Leo can play. There's going to be on a defense to. This is going to be on a defense to get the job done. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles have a very, very good defense. I mean, as I said, the two cornerbacks are just. It's tough to throw the ball on them because you got Darius Slayton on one side, possibly going up against maybe your best receiver. And then you got James Bradbury taking care of the second best receiver. And, it's tough to throw the ball on them. They're number one in the league. They only give up like 100 and something yards, 178 yards a game, I believe it said, passing. That's nothing. Yeah, the Giants really going to have to work it out for them. Everything's got to be on cue. You can't, no penalties, no turnovers. I said, I don't know what's going on with Saquon. I hope, I said, I don't know if he's starting to wear out or if his shoulder's still bothering him or what it is, but, we need something out of him. Gates has to play center. But I'll tell you what, he played really well against the Cowboys. He against Pro Football Focus had him grading out like over an 80. I don't know if he struggles. Seems like he struggles when he plays guard. But I'll tell you what, when he's playing center, he seems to do better. But I don't know if the coaches are going to wind up saying that and they have Feliciano in there. And sometimes Glowinski, he gets overpowered sometimes. The Eagles got some good, like Fletcher Cox, and they got some big guys there. They're just overpower you. And Glowinski sometimes he just gets overmatched sometimes. We have to mix it up. Oh yeah. Well, I tell you, I tell you the one thing I wouldn't mind putting Breida back there and get Saquon out wide. Saquon can run patterns. Get him out there wide. Get him out in space, right? It's one thing having him in the backfield, but he's in the center of the field. But get him out wide. Get him out in space. Right? He could be a mismatch, especially on maybe if a linebacker's got to cover him or maybe their third cornerback's got to cover him. He could be a mismatch. I would, right? And as I said, that too, we have got to mix it up. You can't, first down, run the ball. Okay, now it's 2nd and 11, so we'll throw the ball twice. You got to have to mix it up. You can't, they can't know what's coming, right? Like some of those jet sweeps that you get guys in motion, right? I see I like the Chiefs do that a lot. Maybe Holmes is in the shotgun. Right, you got the guy coming in motion. They get the shotgun snap, and he flips the ball to the guy doing it on a jet sweep or something, taking going around the edges. We need the Eagles can't know what's coming. Got misdirection. Got guys going this way, the ball's going that way. Anything to confuse them. Yes, can't be afraid to be aggressive. No, how hard it is. Especially against a good defense like the Eagles have. Okay, we're just going to dink and dunk a 16-yard play drive down the field. We'll score a touchdown. It didn't work last week. As I said, I think the second half last week against the Commanders in the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and overtime. So basically, the last 40 minutes, the Giants' longest drive was 7 plays. The longest drive, I think, was 36 yards. And it was 2 minutes and 39 seconds. And that was just being conservative. They had a couple long passes down the field. The one that Slayton had his hands on, and he dropped it. And then the next play after that, they threw another long. This was just at the end of regulation. They threw another long pass down the field that was incomplete as well too. But yeah, we need to keep them confused and throw them. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very, very, very difficult. Because their defense is very good and very sound. And like I said, they're kind of the Achilles heel, if anything, is they do give up some yards in the run game. But the thing is with that is that that's kind of like a, you can't get too far behind. If we're down 28-3 in the fourth quarter, well, I guess the run game's out the window. Forget about it. Okay, that's something that's got to be sustained. You got to keep doing that. Over and over. But then that means you got to start that early too. So those 1 and 2 yarders in the first quarter turn into 2 and 3 yarders in the second quarter, turn into 3, 4, 5 yarders in the third, and then 5+ in the fourth quarter. But you got to it's got to be a sustained effort. But I said, but if we're down a ton of, we're down by like 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, you got to throw the ball, right? Kafka has to pull out some trick plays and surprise them. Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean, we can't have our defense just can't be, we can't go 1, 2, 3 punt and have our defense keep running back on the field. I mean, forget about it. We'll be just too tired out. I mean, because they got a good running game. They have a phenomenal offensive line, which they it's not only so much their running game, it's Jalen Hurts, So either it's a design run or he drops back the pass, right? You got 4 guys rushing him. He sees an opening. If nobody's open, he sees an opening. He takes off. And the most demoralizing thing about that is that, he takes off. He gets a first down, right? First down, drive extended. Now the defense is huffing and puffing, right? And they got to play at least another 3 plays, right? And it's very demoralizing as well, too. So, I mean, we got to, it's if Kafka has any tricks in his bag, he needs to start thinking about pulling them out because you can't be saving them because we're only down. What, we got 5 games left, right? This will be it would be nice to see if at least we can, if we lose, right, don't get blown out. I mean, if we lose like 31-14 or something, 38-10, I mean, it'd be like, very demoralizing. If we lose to probably the best team in football, okay, if we lose to them 27-20 or whatever, 24-17 or something like that, you tip your cap to them. We're banged up. They're not, okay? You tip your cap to them. But can we keep it close, right? What we got? We have to keep Hurts contained, in the pocket and force him to throw without giving him any time to scramble and throw. Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of that also is going to depend, if we get Sexy Dexter push in the pocket, right? Because a lot of quarterbacks don't like that. I know Brady hates that. He, hates that. He wants to be, bounce and bounce, but he, if there's pressure on the outside, he wants to be able to step up in the pocket. Well, if Sexy Dexter's there pushing the pocket, that's going to be a battle. Sexy Dexter versus their interior offensive line. But then I said, Kayvon and Azeez, you got to be careful. You can't get behind if you know what I mean. You can't run past the quarterback, right? Can't run 10 yards down the field to try to get around the tackle and try to loop back around and try to get, you got to try to get your, keep the edge, contain the edge, but try to get pressure as well. So because if you just start running down the field, right, to try to get around the tackles to try to make that, Hurts is going to stand there, there's going to be like almost nobody in front of him. He's just going to take off and he'll take off. And very demoralizing. We may not have Leo. Yeah, no, he didn't practice today. No, he's got the problem with that neck. I mean, it's, I mean, the thing is, it's like if it was a broken bone, you can kind of figure out what's going on. It's broken. Okay. You can maybe wrap it up or maybe he'll be out so long or this, and you got something wrong with your neck or your spine or something like that. If it's a disc or something, I mean, you can go to a chiropractor every day and he can keep making adjustments, but you can only make so many adjustments in a day. I mean, I go to a chiropractor every month, so, I mean, there's only so much they can do in a day. So, I mean, hopefully it's nothing season ending. I don't know if it's season ending, but, he may not be in there. I mean, and that would really hurt because our offensive line, our defensive line, right, with him and Sexy Dexter in there, that's our best defense. I mean, if you start putting like Ellis in there and some of the other guys, I mean, they're not as good, and they're not as good against the run, and they're not going to have a hard time rushing the quarterback as well too. So I mean, we re-signed a 6'9", Roy Mbetica. Yeah, yep. Got him back on the practice squad. Yeah. I tell you what, I really hope he works out. The only thing I'm kind of like scratching my head about a little bit is that say he works out really well. Okay. He's a tackle. Okay, I don't know of any 6'9" centers or 6'9" guards. He's a tackle. Well, last time I checked, we we got a lot of holes on the team. Last time I checked, we don't have any holes at tackle. I mean, we got Thomas and Neal. I'm penciling those guys in for the next 10 years. Okay. I think we got two real good studs at tackle. Okay. Neal's going to take maybe a year or so to get a little bit better. But I think he's a man's man. I think he's a true professional. I think he's going to really work his ass off on his craft, especially in the offseason. And I think next year he's going to take a nice big step going forward. But with Roy and Betica, he's a tackle, So, I mean, I hope he does really good. I guess maybe we get him on the roster if he ever starts really doing good. But I mean, he's gonna be a backup. So we resigned to say he is huge. Yeah, he can develop him wingspan. Oh yeah, 6'9". Oh yeah, he's a huge human being. He's a great athlete. Absolutely. I mean, we can. I don't know. I mean, get him on the offensive line. I mean, maybe in the jumbo package, put him in, as like a third tight end or something like that. Get him in there. You can also get him in there too, like on maybe the field goal team or the extra point team or something like that. I don't know if you'd want him on the punt return team or anything like that because I'm not sure. Have to see how fast he runs. I don't know, but. I said that the problem, I wish he was like a guard or a center or something like that. Because we got, knock on wood, we got our tackles for the next, hopefully 10 years. But, it is what it is. I mean, he's a fantastic, O.C. Umenyiora found him out there in Nigeria. He's an amazing athlete. So I wish him nothing but the best. So the Giants will hopefully, he's on the practice squad. So we'll have him hopefully next year too. So we'll keep up with this story. He was he got in some preseason games, so he got a little bit of his first taste of the NFL and all and everything. But it's good to see him. I'm glad we re-signed him. The Saints, I forgot who it was. The Saints took somebody off the Giants practice squad. I read who it was. I can't remember who it was. So the Saints came in and took somebody off the Giants practice squad. So that left an opening in the practice squad for the Giants. So that the Saints wound up re-signing Roy. So that's where he's at. Yeah, so he's an amazing, absolutely amazing. But I mean, the Giants are going to have to really work out for him. I said, I absolutely can't stand the freaking Eagles with a passion. I absolutely can't stand them. But so it's going to be a tough game. The Giants going to have, it'll be tough. And whatever was going on with their offense in the second half and overtime, they I mean, the Commanders had to have a good defense, a good front four and all that. But I mean, we scored one touchdown in the final 40 minutes, and the touchdown we scored, we had to go 20 yards to score because that was Azeez Ojulari. I think Azeez stripped. I think he caused a fumble, and he recovered the ball like the 20-yard line. So the Giants drove 20 yards for a touchdown. Other than that, I don't even know if the Giants. If the Commanders punted the ball there. Okay, and the Giants started the ball, started their drive, say they're 30. The Giants may not have scored at all in the second half, right? I don't know. They had something going on in the 3 drives in a row, okay? They had in the first half. They scored 3 drives in a row, 2 field goals and a touchdown, right? And that didn't translate in the second half, okay? As I said, the Commanders have a good defense, but, I mean, to basically shut out any offense for the final 40 minutes of the game, basically. I mean, what we got? What do you think about Jerry Jones' comment about OJ? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think OBJ enjoyed his Dallas visit. Well, Jerry likes to talk, but I think there's a concern. I think it might be possibly with all the teams, maybe the Giants, the Bills, and the Cowboys. They don't think he's going to be ready to go. He may not be ready to go maybe for another month or so. So I don't know if any team's going to want to. I mean, the Giants going to want to sign him for maybe a game, maybe 2 games, But he was cleared. Yeah, I think he was cleared, by maybe his doctors. But maybe he, but he has to pass a physical, right? And just because their doctors cleared him. Okay. But, he's going to pass the Giants physical. Our doctors are going to get our hands on him. And then even if worse comes to worse, he might have to, run some routes and stuff and all. And, Dable knows what he's looking at, he's out there, he might be looking, he didn't run any routes or anything for anybody, but I think that it just seems like from all the, from the, everything I'm reading online. Okay. It just seems like there's some questions about whether he's able to go right away, and I don't know if somebody's going to want to sign him for a couple games or so. But however, the Giants are like the only team. Okay. The Bills have like minus $10 million in salary cap space next year. The Cowboys have like $2 million in salary cap space next year. The Giants are the only team that he went to that has money next year. Okay. So he's looking for a long-term contract. Between the Bills and the Cowboys, they don't even have enough money right now in their salary cap for next year to sign the draft class. The Giants do. Okay. The Giants can sign the draft class, and the Giants can maybe sign a free agent. Might be Odell Beckham. If we can get Odell Beckham, right? Maybe get Sterling Shepard back, maybe on a real cheap deal. Get Wan'Dale Robinson, right? Back. We'll get Bellinger. Maybe re-sign Saquon. Maybe get a nice wide receiver early on. It doesn't have to be the first round. Maybe a second rounder or so like that. We'll have some weapons next year to work with. I said, especially if we can sign Odell Beckham. But it's got to work it's got to work. It's got to work for Shane. The numbers got to work out. He's just not going to, this is Odell Beckham, we'll give him whatever he wants. No, he's got a number, and it's got to work out. But I think the biggest thing right now is what I'm talking about is that, there's questions about whether he's, able to play, his health. That's what I think. But I think with, will he be making a decision? Well, I tell you what, I thought what I was reading was that he was supposed to visit the Cowboys and then this week, go home, what I read, talk with his family and see which one would make the most sense for him. But I don't know if anybody offered him a deal. I'm not sure. Because when I was listening to what Dable was saying in his press conference on Monday, he said they just had a great visit and all that. He didn't say anything about offering him a deal. I haven't heard anything about anybody offering him a deal at all. So I don't know. Because I don't know if the Giants going to want to offer him a deal for the last game of the season, or two games of the season. I don't know, but hopefully we'll start hearing some things as time goes by. But I don't know if anybody offered him a deal, right? Because there's a question as far as what I'm saying is that I'm reading is that I don't know if any of them think that he's maybe eligible to go right now. And I think with Jerry Jones can be a good ally for you because he can really talk good about you and this. But he likes to talk, and sometimes you talk, you put your foot in your mouth, and he puts his foot in his mouth, and quite possibly that could have spoiled it for OBJ. Well, we got. I think his deal will be for next year. Yeah, well, I hope so. As I said, but the Giants, have money next year to sign him, and the Giants could use all the help they can get. Not to have him be the number one wide receiver, but could you imagine he's like the number 2 receiver or something like that? That would be pretty impressive. Uncle does too much. Uncle Jerry. See, sometimes that's why we're like when Mr. Mara comes in. Okay, Mr. Mara is more of a professional. Jerry loves his Cowboys and all this. Sometimes he's a little too involved. Sometimes he talks a little too much. Sometimes it's good. It's good for TV and all that stuff. It's good for reporting and But Mr. Mara sometimes just stays off in the background, doesn't say much. He has thoughts going through his head, but he doesn't say much. He keeps his business to himself. So sometimes what Mr. Mara does for the Giants is a lot better than what Jerry Jones does for the Cowboys, without question. Yeah, Uncle Jerry does too much. He's all the times when he talks, when he helps things, situations, half the time he talks and he does the absolute reverse. He makes things worse for the situation too by just talking too much. So sometimes you need to keep his mouth shut, But all right, Ronnie, it's been 55 minutes. Thank you so much. I'm going to sign off. That was talking about the Giants and their offense. Tomorrow I'm going to try to go over the defense a little bit and see what to expect when the Eagles have the ball, right? Mara's doing great, staying quiet. Yeah, I'm loving it. Last year, he was a menace for us getting to him. Yep. Oh, yeah. But been 55 minutes. Ronnie, thank you as always. Thank you. I love all the comments. It's nice to be able to interact with somebody. Absolutely, instead of me just sitting here talking to myself for 55 minutes. But as always, guys, anybody spend any time watching this, thank you. Anybody spends any time watching the replay of this, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And Ronnie, thank you as always. Thank you. And as always, guys, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.